Welcome to the Ordinary Guy Garage. I'm Scott, just an ordinary guy. So anyways, I did a video a couple days ago, kind of did a little bit of a shop tour, and I went over really quickly through my tools, and I realized by the response, I got a lot of people viewing it, that there's a lot of interest in how people set up their toolboxes and what kind of tools they have and why they have them and whatnot. And so I figured, you know what, let me go a little bit more in depth into what I have, excuse me, into what I have in my toolbox and what I think of some of the things that I have. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, I am a home mechanic. I've been working on cars pretty much ever since I could hold up a wrench. I remember I learned by, my dad would be under, we had this old 67 Dodge Cornet or whatever. Starter would go out in it often, and I remember my dad coming home after work, laying underneath that car and fixing that starter, and me manning the toolbox. You know, hand me that 1/2-inch box end wrench. What's a box end wrench? You know, and I'd hand him one and he'd say, nope, that's not it. And you know, I learned like that. You know, that's how I learned. And it stuck with me, and it's a passion I've had for my entire life, and I don't see it going away anytime soon. I love tools, I love cars, and I hadn't really realized that there was so much interest in how people arrange their tools. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so this box I keep on my workbench. So I have a couple of things that I'm doing right now, so those are on my workbench, but you know, I keep my drills and stuff in the back there because that's works out good for me. Got my welding stuff, already went through all of that in the last video. But when you get to this box, I have my big drill index up here. Some of my hole saws go in there as well. Of course, my hearing protection. You'll learn that if you're a young guy, you'll learn as you get older, that stuff, you wish you would have wore it when you were younger. So again, just some miscellaneous drill bits. I keep like my step drills in here, router bits, and you know, just some miscellaneous stuff mainly. Get down in here, and also some of the larger bits that don't have an index for them. And then this here is actually kind of cool. It's mostly empty now, but I got that at Costco about 15 years ago. Pretty neat little deal. Just another, this is like, you know, discs for, you know, porting manifolds and cylinder heads and stuff like that. Of course, all my flashlights. I was heavily into mag lights for a while, and I had a couple that were, you know, 6-cell mag lights. That was back before the LED lights became something. And so in order to get a bright flashlight, you'd have to have a mag light that had a whole bunch of D-cell batteries. And like I said, I had one or two that had 6 D-cell batteries in it. And they were pretty bright, but man, it was like a billy club, you know. And of course, my safety glasses, because again, as you get older, you'll think, man, I should have wore those when I was younger. And this here is all of my knife cutting things. Got this big old knife because why not? And of course my utility blades, and then my small blades that I go through those like crazy when I'm cleaning gaskets and stuff like that. Of course my Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, just in case I need to verify something. No, I'm not political. Then I get down into this one that's actually in the bench itself. This is just a Harbor Freight tap and die set. And I use it a lot, and I've broken 1 or 2 of the taps, and I just go down and buy another one at the regular tool store and stick it in there, and that works out really good. Got the helicoils back here that I've used. Easy out. This has got some easy outs in it and some more taps and stuff like that. Then this was a cheap tap set that I bought from Lowe's at one time. And then over in my other box, I have a metric set of taps. And then I have this really old set of taps in here. I guess we can pull those out. This is an old set that's been around forever. So that can go back in here. This is some more of my toolbox organization stuff. I never quite got it all finished. I lean heavily towards a lot of Craftsman tools, and the reason for it is because my dad did, and so I did as well. I just kind of followed in his footsteps in that manner. The only problem is in recent years, I've been kind of disappointed with the quality. Here's some more of my welding supply stuff, you know, just miscellaneous stuff that I'd be using here on the bench. And then my clamps and stuff, you know, I got some of the, what is this, tracks. I got those at the farm supply, and then a couple Harbor Freight ones in there, and Irwin. And I'm not happy with this drawer. I'm gonna make some kind of thing on the wall to hang my clamps on, because I don't like them in there. Now in here I got some more cleaning stuff and grinding wheels and welding rod for my arc welders. Then down here again, some more safety equipment down in here. This is all the kind of stuff, and the way I laid this out, this is all the kind of stuff that I'd be using at my bench mainly. Of course, some of the drill bits go to the corner to the drill press, but I do a lot of the drilling and stuff. So I made it so everything works here nicely with the bench. So then we get into the big box over here. Now, like I said, I lean heavily towards Craftsman, and most of these Craftsman sockets I've had for a very long time. These came as sets, and I'm still missing some teeth here, I guess you could say. These are just ones that didn't come in the set. I don't have any sockets in here that I've actually lost, because I typically don't lose my sockets. And one day I think I'll fill these in, you know, maybe from Amazon or eBay or whatever, and get those other sizes that are missing here. So over here I have my deep 6-point half-inch drive sockets, the chrome ones, just basic homeowner, home mechanic type stuff. And then I have the shallow 12-point. Now my half-inch drive selection is a little bit low, but it gets me through. And then the other thing I do, because you know these things stay in the box, so one of the things I did was I made a small, you know, take it with me kind of thing. So if I'm not quite sure the size, I could run it out to whatever I'm working on and not have to run back and forth. So that's a half-inch, I have that. And then I get into my 6-point sets of 3/8 drive. Here's the deep. And then here's the shallow ones, again 6-point on this rack here. This rack here has 12 points, also 3/8 drive, deep and shallow. Back in here, I just have some different of the Allen head type that you use there. And then I also have back in here another set of the Torx, and then another set of Torx. Those I never know what size they are, so it's really good that they're on those racks. Then the other, I don't know, inverted Torx or whatever you call those. And then some more Allen. Then I picked up this just because, why not? Just kind of a weird Craftsman one. I don't use it too much. And then on down to my 1/4-inch drive, 6-point and deep, 6-point and shallow, 12-point deep, 12-point shallow. Then I got this snap-on set here. Let me get it open. It's just kind of a take with you 3/8 drive snap-on set. And that goes in there. Then my Crawfoot wrenches, I have these in standard and in metric both. Rarely use anything like this. Down into here I have my spark plug wrenches, and then some more of those inverted Torx or whatever you call those, I don't know. Correct me in comments if you need to. And then this side of the toolbox over is mainly metric. This is standard on the left side and metric to the other side. Now I have another take with you kind of set of metric shallow 12 points, which I can take with me out to the car or whatever I might be working on. And then I also have a set of the 12-point SAE shallow that I can take with me. Now then, a couple other small boxes. I have another snap-on that matches the 3/8 drive box. This one here is a 1/4 inch drive snap-on that kind of matches the other box. I use that one a lot. I don't use that one too much, but this one here I use a lot. Then I have another snap-on smaller one, but again 1/4 inch drive that I can take with me. Now the metrics, back in here I have the deep set of metrics that came as a set. Again, missing a lot of teeth here, so, but it is what it is. But they gave a pretty good selection when I bought that of the shallow 1/2 inch drive metrics. In fact, it starts off with a 9mm, and the Hansen tool rack starts at 10, so it sits right there. I don't use these very much. And then it goes all the way up to 27, and I go up to 30. So I just set them up there. I like muscle cars and stuff like that, and I tend to stay away from the imports, so I don't have a lot of metric stuff. And then over here I have 1/4 inch drive, deep 6-point, and these are shallow 6 points. And then over in here in 3/8 drive, 12-point deep, 12-point shallow, and then again 6-point. What is that one there? That's a 10 there. So looks like I'm missing one right here. I'll have to figure out what happened to that. And then I have a couple of breaker bars, and not breaker bars, but really long 1/2 inch drive extensions back there. So that's that box, or that drawer right there. Next one, now this drawer here has been somewhat frustrating to me and a bit of a mystery that I haven't been able to solve yet. Being that I'm a home mechanic, I don't want to spend a crap load of money on wrenches, but I want better sets than what I have. Now this Craftsman set, it's a 1/16 on down to the 1/4 inch right there. I've had this set for a very long time, and it's my go-to for everything. I have the larger sizes back here behind it. Now I bought a set of these ratcheting ones, but they're missing. They give you kind of a crappy selection of them, so you're missing a few in here. Same thing with the metric. So this set here, I got this set at the same time I got the standard set. So I need to fill this in, and I haven't quite figured out how to do it economically. And I like everything to be laid out just like this, so I can tell if something's missing, I can grab what I need, but this drives me crazy that I'm missing pieces here. Then I got this really old Craftsman set here, which is really neat. You can see by the, let's see, by the label on it, it's old. That's an old Craftsman set. So you open it up, and these wrenches are really thin. It's nice to get into little places with them. I don't use it very much, but it's kind of neat to have. But when's the last time you saw a Craftsman label like that? That is an old school deal there. So it'll sit in the back of my box over there. And that's that. So now we get down to this one here. Now I have my crescent wrenches in here. My twirly bird things here, can't remember what they're called. Then inch pound torque wrench, click style. Then I got the foot pound. These are both Craftsman. This one here I like, this one I don't. This 1/2 inch drive, the problem with it, it has that window down in there that tells you, which is hard to see, but also when you pull on it, you know, when you torque this handle, it's hard to tell because I'm holding the camera with one hand. This handle will move back and forth on you a little bit, and it'll give you a false reading. So you'll move the handle back and it'll tell you a different number, and if you're not expecting it or thinking about it, you're torquing the wrong thing or to the wrong number, you know. So I have it because I bought it, and here it sits, but I don't use it anymore because of that. I do have this older Mac click style torque wrench, 1/2 inch drive ratcheting, and this is the one I use. That's never done me wrong. This is the kind of thing where I was talking about where Sears or Craftsman has kind of fallen off in years when they start making stuff like that. And their ratchets are kind of crappy too nowadays. Then I got this little dial inch, or not dial, but the old bar type here that's just for measuring like pinions, when you do a ring and pinion to measure the torque on it. Then of course here, more snap-on, and this goes from 7/32 on up to 9/16, just a little set there. These are, what are these? I don't know what kind these are. Gear wrench, I guess. Ratchets here. These are pretty neat, except I don't like that thing there. In theory it's nice, but I end up, when I try to ratchet something down, sometimes they'll pop, and then they're kind of a pain. Okay, over here, Blue Point, some Blue Point wrenches. I don't have a complete set, that's why they're in here and not laid out up top. And then a Muncie wrench here for the front bearing on a Muncie transmission. Some other miscellaneous wrenches. I got boxes of tools, you know, that I haven't put in here. So that's that drawer. You get down into here, my hammers, a couple of the 2-pounders. These are Tecron or Tecton. I bought these off of eBay, and I can't remember, not eBay, Amazon. And I don't remember how much they cost, but they were a good deal, and they worked pretty good. I bought this also off of Amazon, this set of hammers. This is all Craftsman hammers here. There's just another one of my hammers there. I have actually another set that goes right here of really old hammers. I just haven't put in here yet. Pry bars, I use these a lot. Some other pry bars back behind it too. Then when we get down into here, I got my I got a set of Hilti deep, or not deep, shallow up to 1.5 inches. Kind of like an add-on set of impact, 1/2-inch drive. Then I got all my 1/2-inch drive metric, deep and shallow, and my SAE deep and shallow. And then I got another set of Craftsman here. These are all Craftsman here. This is another set of Craftsman right there as well. Craftsman 3/4 inch drive impact. Thing's a monster. This was a Craftsman Professional I bought a long time ago. This was my favorite. Man, this thing was awesome, but it needs to be resealed. So I just haven't tried to find seals for it yet. So I've been using this one here. Works pretty good. This here I got for $5 at a swap meet, not a swap meet, a garage sale. It's a S&K little handheld 3/8 impact. I love this one. This one works really good. And then I got my air chisel, which is a Cobalt. I'm really liking Cobalt tools lately because they got a really good warranty, and they seem to be pretty good quality. And then an air drill, again Cobalt, just a cheap die grinder there, another cheap die grinder. This here I just bought. This is a whole body saw I got from Harbor Freight. It was like $30. Works pretty good so far. I haven't cut that much stuff with it, but I'm pretty happy with it. And then my miscellaneous chisels and stuff for the air chisel and different air chucks and things like that. And I get down into my bottom here. I got some cheap old Harbor Freight larger wrenches that I use from, I don't use them that much, but this here is a Craftsman 3/4 drive socket set. It's complete. Found it on Craigslist, paid $50 for it, but you know, it goes big. Let's see, what size is that? That is 2 3/8. So 2 3/8 on down to 7/8. No skips. It's a really neat set right there. I couldn't, you know, for 50 bucks, I mean, come on. Then got a Cornwell 1-inch drive, and then the socket's back there for, I have a Kenworth that I'm an owner operator, and I have to work on my own truck, so I got a few things for that. A couple of miscellaneous air tools. I'm not a body man, that's why my air gun looks like that. That's about it for that portion of it. Of course, this top drawer here, we've already been through that. Right here, now my ratchets, I feel pretty good about my ratchet selection. Got a lot of extensions, enough to get everything I need done. This is one of the Craftsman, it came with a set that I bought. Don't really like it that much. This is a different Craftsman one, kind of a cheap one. But actually this one here works better than that one there, that's a fine tooth. This is an old Snap-on 1/2 inch. This is my go-to. I like this one. This one works really well. Again, another, never use these Craftsman ones. I don't care for them. This one here is a Husky. I actually like this one. I've used it a lot. That's a good one. And the reason for it is these newer Craftsmen, they just, when you look at them, the heads are loose in them, and they just don't work like the old Craftsman. Here's an old Craftsman here, and this here's back when Craftsman was good. So same thing, an extra Snap-on feel there. But that's about it for that one. Of course, this is just stuff. This here is a brass punch. I whipped it up on the lathe out of a piece of stock that I had sitting on my metal shelf, just so I can tap some few things in there, because the whole reason for using brass is it doesn't damage. It doesn't do damage like a hardened steel. One of these hardened steel punches will mess stuff up. That one there it's good. Then this here is actually an old fuel pump drive, but it's hardened and actually works pretty good as a punch, so work with what you got. Then my all these guys here, it's kind of a random, you know, I got a couple Snap-on in here, nothing fancy. This is all pretty much random. I got these fence tools here. These are great because I live on a piece of property, so these things are great. They look funny, you can't figure out what to do with them, but once you get out there and start fixing the fence, you figure out everything these things do. They do about 100 different things, and these are awesome. If you ever buy a piece of property, first thing you get is one of these. So that goes in there. Got a couple of Huskies are okay. They're decent. I like the Cobalt better than Husky, but this is a Craftsman pair here. Channel locks, different pair. This is a Cobalt pair right here. And then some of the vice grip, fancy channel locks. The different tools for doing the electrical vice grips, needle nose, just regular pliers. These here are awesome. That's a neat little set there. And that's about it. Pair of lineman pliers over here. And then down in here, there's really not much to speak of in here. I bought this from Harbor Freight, a spot welder for pulling dents. Pretty neat little deal. For 100 bucks, can't go wrong. And that's just miscellaneous BS. I'm not going to get into that. Now the upper box here, I got all my different snap ring pliers. This was one of the first sets I bought here. First ones that I bought. And this thing here, holy man, you want to talk about trying to build a better mousetrap? This thing here will drive you nuts trying to figure it out. These here, simple is better. Those work much better. Allen keys, just miscellaneous saws, files. This was my grandfather's. It was pretty old. This thing could be, 80 years old. Works great. Take good care of your tools, they'll last forever. Carefully set it in there. My screwdrivers are lacking, so I got to do something about that. I got enough to do everything I need, but I do need to freshen up my screwdrivers. Nut drivers and all these little doohickeys that go into here or go into the into the little mini impact. All of that stuff goes there. Got a little snap-on ratcheting screwdriver, which is pretty cool. Don't use it too much, but I got it. Extra gaskets. I got a bunch of gaskets. This just happened to be some stuff I'm currently working on right now. And then all my electronic stuff. So I'm not very good with electronics. Reading meters and stuff, I have to figure it out as I go along. But I do okay. Test light, I'm mainly a test light guy. Either it's got power or it don't. Trying to figure out how much power and why, that's kind of above my pay grade, but I managed to get through it. Just air, these are just, this is just a Harbor Freight vacuum tester, air gauges, low pressure air gauges over here for the race car, and then I got some other ones. And then this is just some plumbing, miscellaneous plumbing stuff that I have. And then my polars in here. I don't know if I have any of the ones in here that yeah, this is oil pump drive tool for small block Chevy. It's just a cutoff distributor that you use to prime them before you try to fire them up. I got a few homemade tools. And then this in here. Here's another one. This is a bushing installer that I made. Turn this piece right here on the lathe. Not a bolt, put it together. Works pretty good for installing bushings. And this here, and I think that's another piece of the bushing installer. This here is kind of stupid. It's a cleaner for cleaning stickers. It's actually an eraser. I tried to use it on my trailer to get stickers off of it, and it was taking the paint off too, so I don't know. And now it doesn't close on me. It's not a one-handed deal, I guess. And then another Harbor Freight. This is a seal driver kit. This, if you build cars, is the greatest tool in all of the world. This is from Eastwood, brake tube flaring tool. Man, this is super fancy, man. This was 150, 200 bucks. Worth every penny, man. If you want to make double flares on brakes, get one of those, because it does it, and it does it well. It does it really well. Better than one of these POSs. These things here are frustrating because but this is it. This is it right here. So. There we have it. Did I do the top? Yeah, we already went through the top. So anyways, let me turn this camera around here. Well, I hope you enjoyed my tour of my toolbox, and like I said, I had no idea that people were so into how people put their tools away. My wife gives me a hard time about, not gives me a hard time, but teases me once in a while about how I lay things out and how things are, done like that, and whatever. We all got to have our things, and I figure if I'm going to be working on stuff, I want to know where my tools are, and I don't want to look for them. I hate looking for stuff. But anyways, there it is, a little bit more in depth on my toolbox. Make sure you subscribe. Do that, please. I'd appreciate it. And give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment if you want me to show you something else. I'll do it. I also have more shop upgrades coming. I'm going to build a loft in the back over here. I got more toolboxes coming. I got more. It's going to be, now that I know that people want to see this, you're going to get it. So anyways, thanks a lot for hanging out. Again, subscribe and like and tell your friends. And whatever you do, stay safe, my friends. I will see you next time.